So mind the roosters in the background, they're never going to be quiet. We're going on a little bit of a miniature harvesting. Remember I said sensing the energies. I don't know if you guys want to play along with this, but I'm going to pan round. You tell me which piece of fern is potentially something that I'm going to pick, something that doesn't say I want to be left alone, something that says it's all right to take it. Remember I talked about how we all have to ask sacred permission from the land, from the fern itself, since this is a fern. If there's anything that you spot, I want you to remember where it was, and then quite quickly I'm gonna actually zone in on a spot, just in general. Okay, let's see, it's somewhere in there. I'm gonna see if you guys can zoom in on this so you can really see, because sometimes it helps to really see clearly when you're not in person, definitely. So I hate it when people online, if they post a bad picture, that I'm not totally such a visual person and sensing. Okay, so it's this one, right? But it's not the entire one. It's not all of it. Okay, and this is particularly meaning for something that I'm using. So if you came here, it might tell you to pick a different one. What it wants, there's called a it's usually you give some kind of a sacrifice of yourself when you take from someone else. Usually they want something in return. One of the most profound things is actually something from you, because you're sacrificing it of you. But you can also give just an offering of anything that it asks for. It doesn't have to be from you. A lot of people just take nuts and other herbs and other seeds and things as offerings. I mean, there's all different sorts of, you always have to give an offering. So sometimes if it's from you, it will ask for saliva. Actually, that is quite sacred. Sometimes it will ask for blood. Sometimes it will ask for hair. So it just depends. Right now I am, see if I can turn this around. Well, it's going to be difficult to turn it around because I've only got one hand. I'll turn it around a little bit later when I actually get the fern in my hand. Hold on. So now I'm getting the pieces of hair, and actually it's a specific spot on my head that it's that specific that I'm getting. All right, so is asked for hair this time. Typically it is something from me. Typically, because I do a lot of protection work, it is something from me. And sometimes it's actually just like protection. It's not even a physical, well, I guess it is kind of physical. It's a protection spell or something that it asks for. But anyway, a lot of this actually comes from me. So sometimes I'll do offerings where it doesn't come from either my magic or my body, but this is my body to its body, and actually has to place it where it wants it, exactly where it wants it. Its hair. Okay, this takes practice to get it to know exactly where it wants it just right off the bat, so you're gonna have to really work with it. But okay, right, any last thoughts as to where I'm gonna pick from? And believe me, it's not always this obvious. This is one, I don't know why it it's so obvious this time, I probably just gave it away. Asking for spit now. And people that have never done this before think I'm crazy, but if you have done this before, okay, and this is asking for right there, so pick it off right there, not at the bottom. See, I told you it's not always easy. All right, there we go. Trying my best to keep, wants that grass to be stayed there. There we go. This actually is pestering it for some reason. This one it doesn't even want on it at all. It doesn't even want. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything else I'm missing? Right there. Okay. Asking for spit against spit. Actually, it has a healing property. It does, believe it or not. So that probably, it feels a little pinch. Plants can actually feel pain. It probably felt a little pinch and it wants a little healing property. So now this is spit on all the places that so I'm mending all the places that I just tore from. Okay. That's too much spit. Right. There we go. Okay. Now it wants protection breath, so we're going to do that. But that's not something I can show you on here, because that ends up being one of the things that I said I wouldn't show anyone to do anything, how to do anything that would use it for the wrong reasons. So I'm going to do that protection spell, but I'm not going to show you it. And then inside your head, you're going to say, or out loud, you're going to thank it for what it gave you. And what we're going to use this for actually is quite literal pain reliever, what we're going to use it for. Ferns tend to be pretty picky about what they allow you to take and what they don't, but it does depend on the individual plant. Here's one more that it wants. Something is bothering it with that. It doesn't want that there. So I get to have one more leaf. Cool, okay, so that's it. Let's do the healing part now. I'm going to take it in your hand like this, and this time we're not going to smudge with it, we're just going to do like a salve. Okay, so we're going to roll it in our hand like this and get it all nice and mushy. I need two hands or I'm going to lose it. I tell you, this stuff smells so good. I'm sniffing it because it smells so good, I'm sorry. We're going to put the stuff that's left over, back to the earth now. And we're going to choose this little dry place where this poor little place, long time ago, we had quail here. Before we had the aviary set up, they had temporary, and they damaged the land a bit, unfortunately. We'll forgive the quail, but we're going to put it here because this piece of land wishes to have it, and we're going to kind of just spread it out just a little bit. Okay, spread it out, and then kind of push it in. Okay, there we go. Now, what did I use it for? Let's try and turn this around. Typically, I use iodine. I got a bit of a skin condition on my face, in a lot of times the welts are painful. It comes from it's a response to the excess oil. Well, that's someone's practicing shooting. My neighbour. Sorry about that. Comes from the excess oil that is in the water in the well, and it comes from a particular either mineral or something that wasn't there originally. That's a long story about that I can't really talk about, but it got tainted by my very own family on purpose. They did it on purpose. Go out with a bright sun to do this. Alright. We're just going to have to put up with my redneck neighbour, sorry. Alright, so that's where I put it. Just kind of all around. You can see a bit of sticking on there. And typically I would have some kind of cover up on, so you, or at least a little bit of something, so you wouldn't see it that badly. But you know, anytime I get one of those, I have to put something on it. You see a little bit of, right there, you see a little bit of iodine from last night that I let soak in. So, but today we used the fern. And really quickly, I just want to show you the importance of why we don't just take anything and everything that we want. You know, we can't just take anything and everything we want. This is the purpose. Nature belongs to herself, okay? Nature has a plan for things. You could sit here and look at this and think, oh, well, there's a lot of this, right? But part of the magic of this little, of this little stream here, part of the magic of this little stream needs this. It needs all of this. It doesn't want anything taken, okay? You can look and say, oh, look at all these ferns. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does, because it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to itself and the earth, to the land where it lives. Out of all these ferns, and there's a lot of them, why do you think that I only picked from that particular one? It's because I did not have sacred permission to pick from any of these other ferns, or the ferns that I just showed you in different parts of the land. Okay, it was none of those, none of those, none of those. It was very specific. Okay, it wasn't even this one, it was this one. Okay, and it wasn't even the entire leaf. It was, you know, some digits, and then a few times it was only half a digit, right? So and then this one time right here, I made a mistake. I don't know if you caught it. I made a human error. I didn't mean to, but the way that I picked it off was a little rough. Didn't mean to do that. And that's when it had started asking for extra healing. And it's kind of odd, because it's the herb itself is a very healing herb, but it was still asking me to put my healing medicine on it. You're literally going to each thing, whether or not you have to touch it, whether or not you just look at it, whether or not you hear the answer. You know, I can kind of get a physical feel when I look at something, and I also hear the answer. But everyone's different, like I was saying in the other video. Some people see auras. So I would go, oh, a little hair stuck, sorry. That hair wants to stay there. Okay. So I would go to each one and say, can I take from you? No, you don't want me to take from you? Okay, well, let me try somewhere else, you know. And okay, I can take something from you, but I can't take but just these little spots, you know. Tell you that there are others I could have taken from. That one would have given me something if I needed it, but the center star, the universe, whatever you want to call it, the creator, whatever you want to call it, says I only needed so much, okay? And so I can't take any more than what I need. So even though this one would have given me something, even though this one might have given me something, I could only take what I was meant to have at that given moment. So as you can see, it's very strict, and it's very strict for a reason.